Hello everyone and welcome back to the Warframe Open Beta. Today we'll be going over the special survival weekend event that DE has going down for us. Essentially we're testing a new mission type which I can only assume will be called survival or something synonymous to that effect, and I believe this type may be the replacement for the raid mission type as well. I could be wrong on that one, so I wouldn't quote me on that. The event kicked off on Friday, August 30 at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and will definitively end on Tuesday, September 3rd at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, giving players 4 full days to meet the event conditions to obtain the coveted rewards. Speaking of which, the rewards for this set event are as follows: a holographic event participation badge, a new mod called Equilibrium, which when I first heard about it, immediately thought of the movie with Christian Bale. I couldn't have been more wrong on that one, but a man can dream of one day having gun kata in the game. That would be great. Anyway, Equilibrium is a general mod that goes on your Warframe, and what it does is when you pick up health orbs, you gain extra energy, and vice versa, when you pick up energy orbs, you gain some extra health. According to the forum post detailing the weekend event, it's an uncommon minus polarity 10 level mod, which is yikesville because that's going to take forever and a day to max out, and at level 1 enables you to gain 2 additional health or energy per pickup, for a maximum effect of an additional 22 health or energy per pickup at level 10. My initial feeling about this mod is kind of indifferent. It sounds like it could be useful, but probably more so as an aura rather than a Warframe specific mod, since most players would have to possibly rework their frames and possibly forma them to meet that end. But we'll see how the community works this into their builds in the coming weeks. And the final reward for this event is a new shotgun dubbed Strun Wraith, which in all honesty looks like the Strun with a new skin. I know people within the community have already expressed their disappointment at. Personally, I don't really care. It's another weapon whose stats are unknown to everyone but DE, so I'm game for it. Why the hell not? Now, the event has us, the Tenno operatives, doing these survival type missions as a means of distraction for a group of Tenno dubbed Alpha Team, who at the same time is raiding hidden and valuable supply caches for the previously stated rewards. At the start of the mission, we purposefully trigger the alarm system, which forces the enemy to confront us by sending endless waves of infested our way, in addition to cutting off our oxygen in the area we're all fighting in. It's interesting to note that with this new mission type, it's one that sets you up to inevitably fail. The enemies are endless and increase in difficulty over time, and with your oxygen draining at about 1% per second-ish, it puts you in a bit of a bind. Now luckily the Lotus does drop in oxygen capsules every once in a while, which you can activate to restore about 20% of your oxygen, and enemies drop smaller oxygen canisters that restore about 3% per. There is a bit of a glaring problem with this mission type, which, don't get me wrong, it was just implemented and there's always room for improvement, but nonetheless, the main problem that I've noticed is that the whole mission is pretty much RNG based. The Lotus doesn't consistently drop in oxygen capsules. Sometimes you get one every other minute, and then other times you get one maybe every 3 to 4 minutes. Now, there is a limit to how many capsules can be in the level at once, which happens to be 5, at least from what I've seen. On top of that, after a certain point, usually 10 minutes, the Lotus tends to not drop in any more oxygen capsules, period. I'd assume that this is possibly a bug, but it may also be a condition of the amount of players playing as well. Perhaps. When I ran this mission with a friend, we seemed to get more dropped in than solo. Hell, maybe this is RNG too. I don't even know. As if that wasn't enough, the enemies don't consistently drop oxygen canisters as well. I'd expect that when you got to the more difficult special enemy types that they'd have a higher chance of dropping them, but that's not a factor at all. It's just completely random. You know, sometimes you strike gold, and then there are moments where it's like the Great Depression all over again. With that being said, let's go over how to meet the reward conditions for the event. In order to obtain the participation badge, you need to survive for a minimum of 5 minutes. For the Equilibrium mod, 10 minutes, and for the Strun Wraith, 20 minutes. Anything over that is bragging rights, and if you're in a clan, whomever is ranked first in each tier for the best time gets a gold event statue, which adds plus 100 to your E-penis, so that's fantastic, right? Getting the first and second reward tiers are easy enough unless you RNG the most horrendous game ever. At the bare minimum, you should easily make 10 minutes, at the very least. Oddly enough, getting to the 20-minute mark solo isn't so much about skill as it's about luck. Generally, playing solo, you can get anywhere between 13 and 17 minutes about. it does hurt your oxygen drops, but if you're forever alone, it is possible to obtain all of the rewards. Sometimes you just have to keep plugging at it, and you might get it. So, oddly enough, the best way to go about this is actually with a team of 2. It seems like the drop rate just for oxygen plateaus at 2 people for one reason or another. I have no idea. That could be a bug again, or maybe it's a condition of however many players you have playing at one time. I really don't know. But for some general strategy, you could use any frame for this, although I'd recommend against using a press 4 to kill everything frame. I know, it's hypocritical for me to say that because I'm using Rhino in this video, but Iron Skin is useful to combat CC and the fact that you'll be getting hit an awful lot from all sides. My reasoning behind being against press 4 to kill everything tactic is that you'll want the oxygen to drop within a short distance of your frame, generally within a couple of feet. While completely annihilating every enemy in a wide area is indeed awesome, it spreads out your drops, potentially making it so that you end up using more oxygen getting there and getting all your drops between all the oxygen than you're getting back. And really the only time you want to be running out into the level should be to activate an oxygen capsule in an emergency. So let me tell you, sometimes, you know, the Lotus, bless her soul, and you know, all that, being an AI and Rebecca and all that stuff, but she puts them in some of the worst spots ever. Thankfully, she only puts them on the 2nd floor at maximum in the level. If she put them on the top floor, oh my god, there would be hell to pay. But sometimes even getting to the 2nd floor can get pretty hectic when you're being swarmed by enemies and all that stuff, so that would be pretty horrible. But for weapons, I highly recommend any secondary throwing type. I go with the Hiko, but that's really up to you. You want to have it set up for dealing with infested, obviously, and the best thing to do, if you have the ammo mutator mods from the previous event or so, you will want to use them in here because, oh my god, ammo drops like nobody's business. On top of the fact that when you use your secondary throwing weapons, you're going to be spamming the hell out of that, especially at the the higher tiered enemies. When you get past that, about that 15-minute mark and all the ancients start pouring in, you're going to be spamming that like nobody's business, and you'll want to be just throwing stuff left and right and just constantly, running out of ammo. So you'll want those ammo mutators. They're very, very useful. As for frames that I would recommend for this, I'd say the best setup is, if you want to make at the very least the 20-minute mark, you should use Valben and pretty much any other frame. Valben for Bastille, obviously. That's fan-freaking-tastic. Vortex would also be decent, I suppose. But if you want to survive beyond 20 minutes, I'd highly recommend using the combination of Valben and Trinity. Valben, obviously, for the reasons I listed before, and Trinity so that she can chain Bless and make it so that you're invulnerable pretty much all the time, and then she can use Link to get energy back. Not that there won't be a lot of energy littered on the ground anyway, but Link. A combination of Energy Vampire and Link so that she can throw damage onto other things and what have you. Especially when chaining Blessing, because you can get killed during the animation of Blessing. You do not have CC immune during that for whatever reason or whatever. But that's what I'd recommend. This pretty much wraps up the event in a nutshell, more or less. While the event does have its problems, like everything generally does, they aren't completely ridiculous, and the conditions for this event are clearly laid out for everyone, unlike the others which people have claimed otherwise. But that's a story for another time, perhaps. Anyway, that's it for me. Happy hunting, Tenno, and as always, ninjas play free, so enjoy. Peace out.